don't understand, I will ask Ramon to translate, but I will try to talk in English. So I'm an activist and I'm a member of the Party of the Indigènes of the République in France. We are a decolonial party. And what can I say today is that our struggle is very, very, very hard in France as activists, as political activists. And we are targeted by everyone, by the right, by the far right, and even by the left. So imagine how difficult is our activity, political activity. I want to start saying that I'm not optimistic at all. I want to start saying that I think that we are in a pre-fascist period. There are people saying that we are in a fascist period. I don't know. Let's say we are in a pre-fascist period that give us a little optimism. The election of Trump is a signal. The success of Marine Le Pen in France is a signal. The rise of the far right in whole Europe is a signal. But what is more frightening is the weakness of the opposition. I think we are living the victory of the ideas of the right, which are now hegemonic. And I think that we can say that the extreme right thinkers are the best students of Gramsci. They understood that they need to be hegemonic, to gain the cultural hegemony. This is a lesson of the extreme left. But those who understood this are the right. And confronted to that, we are very weak. And we are weak for two reasons. We are weak because the left is white. Because it is white, it cannot understand the questions of structural racism. Because it reproduces, the left reproduces racism in itself. And it's difficult to make them, to consider them as real allies. And the second reason is that we as colonial subjects in Europe are not organized. We don't have political forces. As we don't have political forces, we can't propose a project of resistance. And the other thing is that our allies must be the left, the white left. So we have to do two things. We have to organize ourselves as racialized population in Europe, politically, and we have to invent our allies in the left. And this is the dilemma. And in France, I think that France is the most Islamophobic country in Europe. And we have, since 20 years, we have to struggle the Islamophobic laws of the state. But the problem is that the left was very complicit to the state. So we were alone, Muslim people. Not really alone because a part of the left was with us, but it was difficult for this part of the left to be with us. It had to justify itself always with the rest of the left. And now, the best candidates for the election for the left, I'm not talking about the Socialist Party, of course, I'm talking about radical left. The best candidate is Islamophobic, is Jean-Luc Mélenchon. So, we are in a very, very hard situation. And as you know, since the attacks, since the terrorist attack in last year, the government decided to implement the state of emergency that targeted only Muslim people. 3,000 families had been
raided?
Under scrutiny.
Persécutés, perquisitionnés par la police, je sais pas comment dire.
Under scrutiny.
The police intervened in 3,000 families. These families had nothing to do with terrorism. So it was very, very hard for them. So only Muslims were targeted. And what was very interesting in this period is that in this short period after the attacks and the attacks of the police against the Muslims, the majority of the progressists didn't do anything. The majority, minority of them denounced that, but the majority didn't do anything. But after that, there were the law against work, la loi El Khomri. You heard about it? The labor laws that targeted all the labor people. Okay, and at that moment, the left did a lot of demonstrations in the streets, and millions of people came. So when the middle class were targeted by this law, they went out in the streets, the whites, because the middle class are white. They all went out in the street to denounce the labor law. And just before, when Muslims were targeted, no one did anything. So what happened after that is that it was the emergence of the consciousness in the left that they need to do alliances with the people of the suburbs, Muslim people, black people, etc., because they were oppressed by the states. And at that moment, we said to them, we are not going to help you, because you were not here just before, okay? It was, for us, very important to say that we have to make a deal, a political deal. We have to stay together. We have to resist. It's the same word in French. We have to resist together. We have to resist together, but we have our conditions. We don't want to help you to stay in your positions. We don't want to help you. We want you to assume and to fight racism, state racism. This is the only condition, the condition that will allow us to be all together. And there was at this moment a political struggle between non-white people and the white left. It was very, very, very interesting. So now they begin to understand that the police state is dangerous. But we said to them, the police state was dangerous since 30 years. We have people dying from police since 30 years. And you didn't see that. And we are complaining about the police state since 30 years. Now you are targeted. Now you feel that you need us. We have to be all together. But now the political challenge for us is not to be weak with them. We have to say that comment dit paradis? Paradise. Et l'enfer. Voilà. We said, I'm sorry. Who said that hell for everybody or paradise to everybody? This is it. Thank you. I'm sorry to my